Welcome to the Women's Connection. I'm Barrie-Louise Switzen, your moderator. The Women's Connection is a program about events shaping women's lives and helping one gain authentic power on a personal or professional level. So won't you stay tuned?
Welcome. We all see a product out when we're shopping or doing household chores that we always figure we can improve upon it. But how do we go about it? How do we get our idea out there to make money and take it to the masses? With me is Joan Lefkowitz from Accessory Brainstorms. And we're going to find out how to take our product to market. And I would like to welcome Joan. Joan, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello there.
Your company, Accessory Brainstorms, takes products to marketplace.
Yes.
Let's start with, how did you get involved in doing this?
I started out as a sales representative for designers of fashion accessories. And I had a showroom for many years and represented these products and sold them to retailers. And then in 1992, a product was brought to my attention that was within the field of accessories but was not a full product line. It was an item. And that product was the Topsy Tail.
Oh, I remember that.
That product happened to be patented. It was a patented invention. And it needed to be marketed in a different way. And that was the beginning of the story of how I became involved with patented inventions, both in the fashion accessory field as well as beauty and consumer and lifestyle inventions.
I have an idea. What's the first thing I should do with my idea?
Sleep on it.
Sleep on it?
Sleep on it.
Because?
Because you might wake up tomorrow and still think it's a good idea, and the day after that, and the day after that, and then forget about it for a few weeks, and then think about it, let's say a month later, and it was ridiculous, or you might still think it's a great idea. So that's why I say the first step is to sleep on it and to evaluate over a period of time how you really feel about that great idea.
How long does it take to get a product to the marketplace? Let's say I sleep on it, and then what's the end? What's the time span we're talking about usually?
It really depends on the product and the one who sleeps upon it.
Okay.
There are many steps that one needs to take in order to get it from the concept, so to speak, into the marketplace, onto the shelves. It's a process. If a person has gone through this process a number of times, it would go more quickly. If it's a first-time inventor, so to speak, it could take a while because you need to do all the right things to protect that idea so no one else can copy your idea, and also to make sure to get it made properly or get it into the right hands to bring it to market.
All right, so I've slept on the idea. I know it's a good idea. You're saying I should get it patented or copyrighted. How do I go about doing this?
Well, that would be a little premature.
Oh, okay.
Some of the things that you would do first, where let's say you are a first-time inventor,
Okay.
Would be to write it down and to date it. And it's a good idea to keep a log of related to this concept or idea or invention or brainstorm that you have in a spiral notepad and date each remarks that you make relating to it or each of the changes that you make to it, so that you have a running record chronologically of what it is that you've come up with and when you came up with it. All this can be very valuable down the road when you try to protect it for yourself, so that you have proof that it was your idea at such and such a time.
Using a computer, is that good?
In what respect?
To write it all down. I mean, many people sit at a computer and they write faster than they do in a spiral notebook.
It's not bad, but the thing would be to then cull from what you've written on the computer and take some notes or draw some pictures in that book. And this is the advice of many people within the inventing community, many patents attorneys, many prototypers, and and inventors themselves who have been through the process, that to have it concrete in writing. And at some point, to get your what you've written or what you have drawn notarized. To go to a notary, get this information notarized, so you have actual proof of dates. The kinds of things that you might do after you've come up with the idea is to feel around to see if this is something that fills a niche in the marketplace, or that people really would want or need. And the best way to do that is to do research. You can go into the marketplace and look around. You can check on the internet to see if something like this exists. You can ask people without actually saying what the thing is. If you had such and such, if such and such was available, would you purchase that for yourself? Now we're talking about consumer inventions here, and we're not talking about high-tech products. And you can also do focus groups. If you can get together a group of people, let's say the product is geared towards teens. Maybe put teens in a room and ask them a series of questions relating to such and such a product. They can help you determine what might be the best colors or what price this thing would sell at. And after you've done that, before you actually take much farther, it would be good to educate yourself by buying books about inventing. There's a whole plethora of them available in bookstores and on the internet, and also through a website called United Inventors Association. They have a bookstore for inventors, and there are many good preliminary types of books that one can read just to educate yourself on the process.
Doing focus groups. My concern would be maybe somebody would steal my idea if I did a focus group.
You might want to hold off on the focus group and do a preliminary patent.
Okay. What exactly is a preliminary
patent? Well, there's something preliminary to that, which I should explain. After you've come up with the idea and you've determined that this is a worthy idea that doesn't exist, you really need to check to see if it is out there. So you can do your own patent search by going on to the website from the U.S. Patent Office, which is called uspto.gov. And you can search for your idea. If you're serious about taking this product to market, the best way to do the product search is to hire a person who is an actual professional patent searcher, which is not an expensive thing to do. That can be done for under $500. Or you can actually hire an attorney whom you would then depend upon to take you through the patenting process. So they would give you not only the results of if it exists, but whether or not they think a patent could be granted long term.
Because you're saying some patents might be just good for short term?
Many people try to get products patented and they don't get granted the patent. So it's advisable to have a patent search done and get a professional opinion from a patent searcher, if that patent searcher offers that as a service, or if you have the patent search done by a patent attorney, they will give you an opinion as to whether or not ultimately a patent will be granted on your invention.
When you hire an attorney, do you have them sign some form of confidentiality?
I think that anyone that you share your idea with should sign a non-disclosure form with you. So at the very least, you have that type of protection. Basically, what most non-disclosure forms say is that so-and-so is going to, that's you, going to reveal a concept, an idea, an invention, a product to so-and-so, the other party.
Okay.
Whether that be a prototyper, a potential manufacturer, possibly an attorney, somebody in marketing, a buyer, anyone who might look at it. And that if they have not already seen this as an invention, they will not use it in any manner, shape, or form, the information or the idea or the product, without your written approval. However, if this product does exist and they can prove it, or if it has been brought to them by someone prior to yourself, some other with a great idea, then the non-disclosure form is null and void. So I deal with this on a regular basis. Inventors come to me with their products for either licensing purposes or marketing purposes. I frequently run into the situation where people come to me with the same concept. And I keep records of the non-disclosure forms that I have signed.
Where do women fall down in trying to get a product to marketplace?
There are different variations on answers to that question.
Okay.
I'll just pick one out of a hat.
Good.
Many people, women and otherwise, think that they have to do everything themselves that relates to their product, their baby. The reason for this is they've come up with this thing and somehow become very attached to it. And in the process, they miss out on a lot of professional help that they could get from a variety of sources in getting this product to market expeditiously, if that's a word, and successfully. So in other words, if you are a creative person and you come up with great ideas all the time, that's probably the way your time be best spent. Rather than having to dig through all these other things, some of which we've begun to discuss, and many, many others that other people can do for you. But what it's a matter of is sharing the pie. So rather than getting 100% of something small, you might end up with percent of something humongous. If you seek the help of professionals that can with specialties, areas of specialization, who can help bring your product to market.
Share the wealth, and you become wealthier.
Yes.
If you're going to hire a licensing agent, what are the pitfalls and what should you look out for?
Don't respond to any of the 1-800 number advertisements on television looking for inventions.
Or what about answering contests? They'll take your idea, give you $25,000 if you win, but what happens if you don't win? It's like it's the same category.
Not really. There has been a lot of fraud within the inventing profession by these large corporations that charge fees to the inventors with promises unmet, such as come to us with your invention, pay us X thousands of dollars, and we will get it out there and make you rich and famous. There are websites that actually list these fraudulent companies. So
right.
you can get an idea of whom some of them are and where they're located. Of course, any of them who have been put out of business by the government come back under a guise with another name. But somehow they're in the same city and the same state, and you begin to recognize who they are. But anyone who promises to do something for you with a large charge up front, I personally would be wary of, because there are many honest people within the inventing service community that will take your project on if they believe in it, and then get paid if you get paid.
Oh, I like that. I like that, because I have an idea. I don't want to manufacture it. I don't want to patent it. I just want to license it. I'd sell my idea just for a residual.
It's a little difficult to sell an idea, quote, without protecting it. So you might have to go through the paces of getting at least a provisional patent. We started talking about provisional patents before.
Right.
A provisional patent is one which will give your invention the title of patent pending for a period of 1 year. Within that 1 year period, you have to determine whether you're going to go forward and file for a patent, which which can be a costly matter. However, during that patent pending period, you have a certain amount of protection from other people copying you. They can copy you, but then if your product ultimately becomes patented, they have to pay you based on what they have made from monies that they have made by using and selling that item.
Okay, now it's a product. So do I have to physically make this product? Can I make it out of cardboard to show the idea of what it is? Or do I have to make it out of the same material that I'm going to send it in to be patented?
That's a really excellent question. Probably one of the best questions that an inventor can ask or needs the answer to. If you want to approach a company or even a marketer with your idea and try to sell them on it, it's something concrete to show them. It does not have to be totally professional. It can be something simple, just as you described. You just make something that shows how it works, but make sure that it does work indeed. When the inventor of the Topsy Tail first came up with the concept, I think she made her original prototype out of pipe cleaners. And then another one that we worked with, also very well known, called the Hairdini. I believe she started out working with a hanger and some foam materials, some sponge materials, just to create the prototype. So if you can go in there and demonstrate this product, show that it actually works, even in a primitive handmade way, you have a better chance of getting it accepted and getting the support of the professionals that you need.
How receptive are corporations to new ideas?
There are two answers to that question.
Okay.
One answer is that there are many corporations that do not accept concepts, ideas, inventions from outside of its own design team. The other answer is there are many corporations who seek and thrive upon innovation. They are less likely to speak directly with an inventor. They prefer to speak with professionals, licensing agents.
Like you.
Who, like me, or like others who have different areas of specialization, who talk the talk and know how to negotiate a licensing contract. Because, as I said before, inventors tend, for the most part, to be very attached to their invention and have difficulty in, some of them have difficulty in accepting what is said to them, or they might want to defend the item if a suggestion is made by the people who are looking at it in the corporation. So it is good to have a go-between to act on your behalf, but that can get the information that is needed from the corporation, where they like it, if they want it done in a different manner, or if they're flat out not interested.
You got your licensing agent in place. You got your patent in place. You're going to take it to marketplace. What keys do you have for somebody who wants to manufacture the product and distribute it?
The alternative choice to licensing your product to a corporation where they take care of everything and pay you a royalty on sales is for you to manufacture it yourself, in which case you do not need a licensing agent. But you need a bunch of other people to be on your team. You can do research to find out which companies out there produce in the materials that you need your product made in, or produce similar but not the same products. You do this through recommendation by talking to other people who have products. You don't have to know them personally, but you might create a relationship through networking. You can go on the internet and research manufacturers. There is a famous book called The Thomas Register, where you can find out who makes anything anywhere. And I believe that is available online now, as well as in the public library. you can research foreign manufacturers as well by trying to find agents based in this country who will go and have your product made in foreign countries. I usually recommend to manufacturers when they're first starting out to try to get domestic pricing as well as pricing from abroad, manufactured abroad, so that there's a means of comparison. So if somebody comes on the market and tries to copy you real fast and real inexpensively, you will already have your backup if you've started to manufacture here, so that you can manufacture abroad as well and compete with yourself. Generally, it is said, it is held that you can always come down in price from a product, but you can't go out into the marketplace at a price and then raise the price. So if you produce your product domestically initially and it's such and such a price, then, and if you are prepared to what they call knock yourself off, not in the literal sense, of course, knock your product off by having it made abroad, at any time, once your volume is established, you can do that, because the requirements of higher volume to have it made abroad is generally known to be in the thousands. So once you've established a marketplace for this product, then you can go have it manufactured abroad and get it more inexpensively and make a greater profit. Many people who decide to take this route of manufacturing and distributing on their own rather than having it licensed out have been able to make more money this way than if they license out the product. But if this is the route that one chooses, they have to be prepared to wear all the hats and to take on every responsibility that's involved with owning a business, owning, operating, producing, and distributing, billing, collecting.
Oh my God, you're a one-man job.
Paying the suppliers. It's a big job, and one really needs to be up for that.
Let's say you've gone through all the trouble of patenting, manufacturing, and all of a sudden one day, serendipitously, you find a copy of your product. What do? Do you sue somebody? Do you send a cease and desist letter? What steps do you take?
Well, this is not an uncommon occurrence. If a product is doing very well in the marketplace, there are always those marketers who want to get in on your act. So if your product is truly protected, then you usually contact your attorney, and they take care of it by sending out a letter of cease and desist. If the company refuses to do so, then it would be up to you if you were going to take legal action against them. And you probably would win if your patent holds, if it's strong. But if they can prove that your patent is not worthy in one particular manner, and this is a little technical, but they could say that this product which you got patented was already patented in 1947, or there was something like this on the marketplace previously, and they can prove this, then if you probably would not be able to collect the monies from them.
In the closing moments of the show, what would you like to leave the audience with?
What I'd like to say is that opportunity sometimes only knocks once, and you may be the opportunity that's knocking at your own door. So if you have something that you believe should go out there into the public and that could make you money, you should try to take it to whatever level you can to see if you can make it work.
Packaging a product
can either make or break your product.
Okay.
Packaging is an area that's worth spending money on. Getting the right packaging can make the difference between your product succeeding or your product failing. It's a critical element. If this product is only going to be sold through the internet or in mail order catalogs. But if it's going into retail, packaging is very important because it's what the consumer sees when they see the product on the shelf.
What about a name? How do you name your product?
If we're talking about an invention here, I think that a great deal of thought should go into it because it is similar to packaging. It is what people see on the face of the product itself. By that, I mean it represents your product. So therefore, if you can come up with a name which becomes indelible in the mind of the consumer, like the Topsy Tail did, then you are on a good path to the possible success of the product.
How do you go about promoting your product once you've got the packaging done, the name correct, patented, and everything else? How do you promote it? Or what's the best way to promote it?
The best way to promote a product in the fields that we've been speaking of, beauty, fashion, lifestyle-oriented products, is to get professional public relations assistance on this for the product. And those companies will take your product out there and get mentioned in magazines, television, radio, on the web, in articles, you name it. But that's very costly. So if perhaps you can get a student specializing in public relations to do this for you if you don't have much of a budget, or you may end up doing it yourself, or someone on your team who has an ability to do it might be able to do it. You have to write a press release and get it out there and try to get word about your product out to the public so that it develops an interest and then it becomes more or less self-sustaining, word of mouth.
Create a buzz.
Exactly.
Joan, thank you so much.
My
pleasure. It has been wonderful learning so much about how to get an idea to market. And I hope you've learned something. And if you have any questions, Joan would be delighted to answer your questions. So write us here at the Women's Connection. Love to hear from you. Bye now.